You Were Never Really Here is directed by Lynne Ramsay, and it's a kind of neo-noir revenge thriller of sorts that stars Joaquin Phoenix in the lead role, and it basically revolves around this aging hitman played by Joaquin Phoenix and his attempt to get this daughter back from these guys. I'm not going to go too much more into the plot than that because I didn't really know a whole lot going into this movie. I knew that it was about a hitman, that it was a kind of revenge thriller. I'd seen the picture with Joaquin Phoenix and this little girl. That's all I really knew. I didn't really know anything going into this movie, and so I was really taken aback, really pleasantly surprised by how great this film was. Now, I didn't think it was going to be a bad film. I thought it was going to be good. I'm not sure what I expected going in, but I definitely didn't expect this. This film really took me by surprise, and it really impressed me because I thought it was going to be more of just a straightforward, kind of conventional revenge thriller. And it is kind of a revenge thriller, but a very different kind of revenge thriller. It's not as bloody and violent and as intense as I thought it was going to be, but that was actually a really big positive because I was worried it was going to be really bloody and really kind of over the top and really unnecessarily violent, but it wasn't that at all. And there are moments of blood and violence in this film, but they're very few and far between, and when we do get moments of extreme violence, it's not gratuitous, you know, we don't see loads of blood and gore or anything like that. It's filmed and it's shot in such a way that it's not as bloody as you would expect, but I actually really like that because I was expecting it to be more the opposite to that, maybe more Tarantino-esque, maybe Scorsese-esque, I don't know, maybe a little bit more like intense and in your face, but it really wasn't that. And for me that really worked because it gave the movie a different kind of feeling. It's more almost like a psychological thriller at times, and I really like that because there are some really great moments of violence, but as I said, they are very few and far between and we don't really see a whole lot. What it really is about this film is about Joaquin Phoenix's character, and it's about his mentality and what he's going through because he's dealing with this trauma of his past and certain things he's experienced in his past and how he's been very much kind of traumatized and very much affected by what he's been through. And what I really liked about the film is that it never went too heavy on exposition as far as that element was concerned. It never delved too deeply on that. We just had these quick flashes and these quick visions, but that was it. And I think it was really effectively done because they could have really delved into that and had these really long exposition heavy sequences explaining what happened, but they didn't. You know, we just had these little quick flashes and these quick visions and these little flashbacks of what happened in his past, and that was it. And for me that was really powerful and really effective because it put us in his mindset, in the kind of the mentality of Joaquin Phoenix's character, in that he's kind of traumatized. He's like this war veteran. He's like dealing with PTSD. He's inflicted with these kind of traumatic flashbacks, and we as the audience get to experience that with him, with these quick visions and quick flashes that we see every now and then. It really puts us in his shoes and in his mind, so to speak, and that we're experiencing these horrific, traumatic flashbacks as he is too. And for me, that really worked. And it was an element that I really wasn't expecting or I didn't see coming, but it was really quite powerful and really effective, and I thought it was really well handled. Now I've got to talk about the direction here by Lynne Ramsay. I'm not overly familiar with her work. I don't really know much about her as a director, but bloody hell, she impressed me with this film. It was so well directed. It was really great. It almost reminded me of Michael Mann's Collateral mixed with Drive, so to speak. I mean, it's not as action heavy as either of those two films, but just in terms of like the atmosphere and the feeling, especially how the film opens and we go into the city there with Joaquin Phoenix's character, and it very much feels like that kind of seedy underbelly LA that we get in Collateral or, you know, Drive. And I love the whole feeling of it. You know, it very much has a neo-noir feeling to it, like Drive, for example, and that it's like a classic noir film with an anti-hero, but in the modern day, in modern times, you know, neo-noir. And I really like that. And you know, again, it's something I wasn't expecting. I thought it was just going to be more of just a straightforward revenge thriller, crime, action film, I don't know, but it had this neo-noir feeling to it that I really liked. I thought it was really well shot, really atmospheric, really immersive. I was really drawn into it, and it is a bit of a slow moving film. I feel like I have to say that. It's not a fast paced, frantic, action heavy film or anything like that. So I wouldn't go into this movie expecting that. It is slower, it is more thoughtful, it is more dramatic. It does have more of a neo-noir feeling to it, but I really like that because it was slower moving, but I like the fact that it was a slow burner because it allowed you to kind of get immersed and invested in this character and in this world, where it very much felt like you were a part of it and you were really drawn into it. It wasn't some frantic, fast-paced, high-intensity action film. at all. You know, there were some little bits of action every now and then when it was necessary and when the story demanded it, but those didn't drive the film. You know, the action scenes didn't drive the narrative. It's not really an action film at all. As I said, it is more of a psychological drama, almost. And I like the fact that it was more of a slow burner, you know, and I really like that. Maybe it will be too slow moving and too uneventful at times for some people, but for me, I really like that, and I think it really works. And of course, I can't do this review and not talk about the performances. Joaquin Phoenix in this film was absolutely spectacular, and I've been a big fan of his for quite some time. I think he's a really great actor, a really versatile actor. He can do so many different things that every time you see him in a film, he's like a completely different person, and you 100% believe and buy into the fact that he is that person. For example, you know, what he did in Her, and of course then what he did in Gladiator as Commodus. And he can play such different characters, but in equally kind of convincing and compelling ways, and he does it again in here, and he almost disappears into his role once again as this hitman character. He looks very different. He's older, he's more grizzled, he's buff, he's got this beard, you know, he's this war-torn veteran of sorts. You know, he's really kind of mentally and physically scarred. Joaquin Phoenix was absolutely incredible, even more so than before. He really disappeared into this role, and I kept forgetting it was him. He doesn't look that different, but at the same time, he just completely transformed himself into this character through the voice, his looks, his mannerisms, his body language, and he really impressed me because it was a very kind of understated, subdued performance. It wasn't some big, angry, intense, over-the-top thing. It was a very kind of quiet, somber, dramatic performance, and I think he absolutely nailed it. And it almost in a very weird way reminds me of Casey Affleck from Manchester by the Sea, but just a kind of older, more buff, grizzled version of Casey Affleck. And I really do feel like this is one of his best performances he's ever given. And right now, yes, I have still yet to see Darkest Hour with Gary Oldman, but for me, Joaquin Phoenix is the frontrunner for Best Actor. He was that good. I really hope he gets nominated. I really hope he gets the recognition he deserves because he was absolutely incredible in this film. And another thing I liked about his character is that he wasn't some typical manly, buff, macho guy. You know, he has this relationship with his older, kind of elderly mother. And that provides a very kind of touching, kind of heartfelt, kind of human element to him and his story, where he's not just some random, you know, angry, evil old guy. You know, he's a regular person who's trying to look after his mother, and that really grounded his character and brought it down to earth, and we could kind of relate to him through that, and that he had this relationship with his mother, and he was just trying to look after his mum, and so you can really kind of connect with him and relate to him through that aspect. And that was something that really took me back and really surprised me, but I really like that as well. And so yeah, finishing up here, this film was absolutely fantastic. It really took me off guard, really took me by surprise, but it was an incredible film that I really, really liked. It was a little bit of a slow burner at times. That wasn't a problem for me. Maybe it will be for some, but I really liked how this was almost like a psychological kind of drama crossed with a kind of neo-noir revenge thriller. It was so many different things that I wasn't expecting. I was expecting it to be more of just a straightforward, conventional revenge thriller, but it wasn't. It had some kind of neo-noir elements to it. It was almost like a psychological drama at times. Really incredible. I really loved it. You know, there was some imagery in this film that was just absolutely amazing. Some really kind of beautiful and haunting imagery that really kind of captivated me, really drew me in. It was just spellbinding. It was entrancing. I was almost hypnotised by the beauty of this film, and I thought it was absolutely incredible. So overall, this probably isn't much of a surprise to you as I've been gushing about this film for so long, but I'm going to give You Were Never Really Here 5 stars. And one last thing I forgot to mention was that this film was really incredible as far as visual storytelling was concerned, because there's not a whole lot of dialogue. The main character doesn't speak a whole lot, but it is very much a visual film, and so much of the story was just put across through purely visuals alone, and it really works, and I really love that. There's nothing I love more than films that are able to have so much of the story put across to you as a viewer through just the visuals. And if a film can do that and do that successfully, I absolutely love that. It's one of my favourite things that films can do, because they're a visual medium, and if films can put across a story and tell a story to you through just the visuals alone, I think that is just so incredible. So there we go, that wraps up my review of You Were Never Really Here. I don't think it actually gets its wide release until later next year, but have any of you seen it by chance? And if so, what do you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you like this and you haven't already, be sure to click subscribe to see more. If you missed my last review, be sure to go ahead and click over here, catch up on my last review, or perhaps down here to catch up on other of my recent videos. But with that said, I've been David O'Sullivan. I'll see you next time.